Hello, you. It's time for the latest update on Spain visas and residency. We're on winter December 22. Yes, that's the subject of today's show, and I'll be joined on the virtual settee shortly by our best mate, residency specialist Chris from Upsticks.es to answer all of your questions. Yes, you can ask us absolutely anything at all today, as long as it's to do with moving to Spain and living there. So, and of course, you must absolutely stick around till the end because we've got always extra information and news for you. Next week, we're going to be drawing the big charity Christmas raffle competition in aid of two lovely charities, the Pet Rescue Centre and the amazing Age in Spain. Sorry, the Pet Rescue Centre is called ACE and Age in Spain is the other one. So don't miss details of how to enter that in a moment. In the meantime, gather round. It's time for our small but perfectly formed cosmic theme tune. Get ready to dance. Here we go. Right, before I bring in Chris, three very quick pieces of important information. Getting quicker every week at this, so here we go. Number one, you can help YouTooSpain to keep providing you with this so helpful things you learned today by making a donation through buymeacoffee.com. There's a link in the video description below. Number two, don't forget to check out our website, YouTooSpain.com, for more amazing information, blog articles and resources just for you. It's absolutely packed with stuff and I add to it every week. Number three, last but not least, don't miss out on the discount links below on things you need for your Spain move. We've got a lot of affiliate partners on there and they're giving away things. And it's especially important, excuse me, to get your finances sorted out early on before you move. It's one of the first things to do. So use the Smart Currency Exchange link below to get access to a 24-hour app and a whole range of excellent services. They're lovely people there, really good advice, and it's free to do that. And remember, you'll be supporting YouTooSpain at no expense to you. It's a win-win-win-win-win. So, without further ado, let's meet our wonderful guest. It's Chris from Upsticks. Morning, Chris.
Morning. How you doing?
Oh, very good, thank you. I've just wrung myself out after that massive thunderstorm yesterday. How are you?
Yeah, it did get a bit hectic, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's all seems to collapse when it gets this rainy. But yeah, we had I think we had the same the sort of weather that you had. I'm expecting it tomorrow as well, I think.
Yeah. It's just really nice today. So it's like the eye of the storm, I think. And then it's like having a bucket thrown down from heaven, and it all lands at once. But there you go.
It is.
So let's have a look at the live chat and see if there are any shout outs. Phil Conchal says, morning from a frozen France, from Phil and Kimberly. Morning to you. And yes, you're all frozen up there and it's all wet down here. So it's all different, isn't it? Bev says good morning. And Phil says morning, Chris, as well. And Patrick Perkins.
Congratulations, Phil, Kim. Well done, guys. They're on the next stage now, going to Spain.
Brilliant. So they're not there. When are they moving? When are you moving there?
I'll tell you, mid-month, I think.
Mid-month.
Yeah.
There we go. And Patrick Perkins says good morning, and Marie Dye. Good morning, guys. Yes, more people joining us. Joseph Tomino says morning, guys. There's a question from quite a big question from Joe, which we'll come to in a few moments. So, if you you've not got any shout outs for us, Chris, have you? You've got to write them down.
Right now, I was just going through, as you're saying, people on live chat saying hi. Yeah, no, it's been quite a hectic couple of weeks. So I didn't prepare my shout outs. I'm sorry.
Never mind, we'll do them all next week on the special Christmas show, because what we're doing, actually, it's our final show of the year, because the following two Saturdays are Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. So I'm just going to wipe those two out. I'm just going to let you enjoy your Christmas and your New Year. So what we'd like to do today, apart from drawing the prize raffle, is to talk about your success stories, everybody who's watching, and also to get your top tips for a successful move to Spain. So yes, the show next week is going to be all about you. It's a big Christmas show. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to send me your best 2 or 3 top tips. We've already got some. We've got some from John and Patsy Nelson and one other person, and also give us a little paragraph about your success story moving here, and we'll choose some of you to appear on the show. And send those to info@YouTooSpain.com. Make sure you put your name and contact details on there, and I'll be in touch. Do it soon, though. Make a note now to do it straight after the show. It's going to take me a few days to organise the technical side of it. So, yeah, do it straight away. Let's see if we can get loads of you on. I don't know how many we can get on the screen. I think I'm only allowed 10 on this platform, but we'll see. We can just bring you in and out, and I don't know. It's going to be a technical nightmare, but I don't care. It's Christmas. So we'll have fun with that. So everybody get asking your questions on the live chat. So this is all for you. It's we've already got some from social media, as I said. We've got them lined up. I'll get them up on screen in a minute. While we're waiting for your questions, let's talk about the big charity competition. So Chris has donated the prize, and it's the meal for 2 to the value of €100 in a really nice restaurant in Malaga or in the vicinity. We're going to discuss the finer details with the winner, and plus there's a meet and greet. You'll get to meet me and Chris on the day, and you'll get a bag full of goodies, and we might just come and eat with you as well. That's a sight to see. Me and Chris eating.
I'm a foodie. I can't go to a restaurant and not eat.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's it. We'll eat everything. And so if anyone would like to donate any more prizes to the winners, get in touch now. I was at a market the other day, and Kerry, who makes coffee down in Nerja, beautiful coffee. I bought some off her the other day, and she's going to be on the show next week talking about her journey and how she successfully moved. She moved from Ireland, so but there's a good story there. And to get your raffle entry, this is what you do. You need to click on the link in the video description below, which will take you to buymeacoffee.com. And it's not the same page that you can donate to YouTooSpain on. I've set up a new page especially for this, so it doesn't get confused with your donations to the show. And if you can click on the donate one raffle entry, and it's €5. And that goes to our wonderful chosen charities, and we'll draw the winner out actually on the show next week. I've got a spinning wheel thing, which I'll actually show you on screen. So complete transparency there. You'll see the draw happening, and so get donating now. And Liz Coleman says good morning, and thank you, Chris, for helping us with the process. Have you moved already, Liz? And if so, do you want to come on the show? Have you got some top tips?
How are we doing with the raffle? Have we had many takers with the raffle yet?
We have had, let's have a look, about 20 entries, I think, at the moment. I can't see me list. Oh, Christmas raffle, there it is. Oh no, 17 so far. Right. But that's up until a day or two ago. I've not checked. It takes a couple of days for them to arrive in my inbox. But there we go. So that's not too bad a start, but here we go. This is the big launch today, so we'll get that out there. So questions from social media. I'll tell you what. Because Joe's definitely with us online, and because it looks like with all of the details of his questions, we might need to ask him questions to get through this one. So my number 11 on my list is from Joe. So he lives in the UK. He's got both UK and Italian passports. He's planning to move to Ibiza in May, June 23, and potentially to work there. So he's looking at getting his NIE number in advance so that he hits the ground running. First of all, very easy question. Should he use his UK or Italian passport, and why?
Italian passport, evidently EU. So yeah, we know that. We know. So we speak a lot on the show about what's happened post Brexit with UK passports, they're country national. So evidently, yeah, the Italian passport, it needs to come on that. And then look, Joe, if you're looking to work, it sounds like what I did in the year 2000. This when I came over and get work and get residency and stay. Then yeah, I mean, with the NIE number, I say if you could get a job lined up before you come, even better. yeah, that would be great, because obviously the residency depends on, all residencies depend on you, especially you proving that you've got healthcare and you've got money to support yourself. Well, if he's got a job, whether everything he does it for him, but he would need to get an NIE number before for the company to be able to employ him, get the job contract, and then get his residency.
So he was actually talking about getting a UK-based Spanish lawyer, giving them power of attorney to get his NIE number, which raised all kinds of extra questions like, will he have to fly to Spain for a couple of days as part of that process? Can it be done remotely? And is there a tax to pay in a Spanish bank? And does he have to fly out and do that? And the lawyer was talking about notary fees and apostilles, and they were quoting £250. Is that a good price? So actually the question is really to save Joe time, effort and money. The question is this: do you think Joe's going about this the best way, or should he just wait until he's arrived?
Well, I mean, I would, you probably wait until you arrive, to be honest, you know, in advance. Now, if you needed your NIE number before you got here because you needed your contract in place before you got here, then you get it through the consulate. You know, you don't have to employ somebody to do it. What we have a lot of the times is, because getting an NIE number from the UK can be slightly complicated, and if you're doing it with power of attorneys from the UK, it's apostilles, translations, and extra money you don't need. A lot of times people just fly in, you use a local notary wherever they're flying into, €50, you've got your power of attorney, you've been through that process, haven't you? And then you can get somebody to do it within Spain, which is evidently going to save him a lot more money than doing it actually from the UK. So I'd say it's absolutely essential you have it before, maybe for work reasons, and initially just contact whichever consulate you correspond to if you live in Manchester or Scotland or the London region, because you know you'd be able to do it there. We have seen a couple of times that people have said, I'm going to move to Spain with an EU passport, and they're saying, and the consulate's actually told them just do it in Spain then. So and then depending on the you've got loads of time, so depending on the availability of appointments, you might find yourself in Mallorca to get an appointment for an NIE, like in Ibiza, but depending on the availability, you might be able to book an appointment. He's got plenty of time, so you can check the appointment availability. You know, just book your appointment in to coincide with you actually arriving there.
Yeah, he says his dad has got a place near Marbella, so should he just get the whole process done there, so he's got a place to stay? And
yeah, I mean, if you're doing a trip over to meet family members, you've got two choices. You could either book your appointment to get your NIE number that coincides with your trip, bearing in mind that you have to leave around 5 days to pick up the certificate after the initial appointment. Or if you come over to Malaga, then you can drop into a notary, give power of attorney for someone else to do it on your behalf, as we get our clients to do that for us. And then you can leave, and that'll get done while you're away.
Yeah, there you go. So, he's also got his residency. He didn't mention anywhere about residency. That's something you need to apply for when you arrive, and you need an address for that, I suppose.
Yeah, so there is. So we're talking. I mean, he's looking at. We don't know his exact circumstance, do we? But you know, looking for work. If you do get a job over here, they're going to ask you for an NIE number to then go through the registration, social security, etc., etc. So, and evidently using that job, you'll be able to get residency. So, depending on the length of the contract, though, you have to be a bit careful on the money that you're going to get paid as well. It'd have to qualify.
So it looks like he said potentially work there. So it looks like you're not, Joe. You're not actually planning to get the job before you get there. You're looking to move and then look for work, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose the difference would be that if it comes in on an Italian passport, obviously EU platform is not under the stress of third country national. Getting an NIE number definitely facilitates things that you're doing in Spain, as we know. And if it tends to stay more than 90 days, even as an EU citizen, you have to register his residency there. So that's what we always explain to you. The difference between an EU citizen has to register because they have the right to live here, whereas a country national has to get permission Yeah, so that's the difference. No one's actually controlling EU citizens that much. If they get to their 90 days and spend a bit longer, we know pre-Brexit some Brits stay 20 years without getting residency. But he can come over, and then evidently after the 90 days, no one's going to be kicking him out. But he should register as a person on the residency list, so he'll only get a little green card, which is a receipt of that. And to do that, he would have to prove he's got enough money in healthcare. So that would be either private healthcare and money, or it would be a job, which would cover you for both.
Yeah, great. So, Barry from Unitex says, good morning. He was a bit late joining. He had to clear snow off the path. There we go. Nice one, Barry. And Phil says we should arrive the week commencing 19th of December. Bordeaux Consulate advised us to visit the police station when we arrive, as we will not have an entry stamp on our passports. Please advise. Is that right?
Yeah, you can. I mean, hopefully we might be able to coincide their appointment and do it all in one go. So you can get a declaración de entrada at a police station. So with all the NLVs which have been coming through France, because there isn't a border, with a lot of them, we've been going straight to the registration appointment, and they've used the start date for the visa as the start date for the residency.
Okay. And Joe, hello, Joe. She says, cheers, guys. So the notary would allow someone to pick up my NIE on my behalf and then send it back to the UK. She says, however, I'd still need to attend Spain in person to go to the police station?
No, so the way it would work was there are two ways. You can either go to the police station yourself and do your own appointment, and then 5 days later in Spain pick up your certificate. Or when you come to Spain, you can go to a notary and you can give someone else power of attorney. It's called a poder. So the power of attorneys in Spain work differently to how they do in the UK, where you can actually just give somebody the right to do one specific thing. So the NIE, you just literally go to a notary, give the person who you're authorizing to go on your behalf to get the NIE number a power of attorney only for that one specific thing, and then you wouldn't have to do anything. That person can go to the appointment for you. They can apply for the NIE, and they can pick up the certificate, and then they can send it to you.
Yeah, there you go. That's called a limited power of attorney, isn't it? That's what I got from it.
Yeah, that's what you got, and then after that action has happened, that power of attorney actually becomes invalid because you've already done it. The person who goes on your behalf, so I think it was me who went for you when we got yours.
No, it was Tom.
Well, was it?
Oh, no.
No, the translation, didn't it?
Oh, he did. Oh, he went for the power of, yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he went, I can't translate because I can't translate my own power of attorney. So Tom did the translation for you, which is worth mentioning. If you don't speak enough Spanish, a lot of notaries would request that someone was there when you're giving the power of attorney, just so you know what it says.
Yeah.
And then someone, I for example, when I go, I take the power of attorney, all the application forms. Very important that you have a legalised copy of the passport as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we make the application, and then we can go 5-6 days later to pick it up. One thing that is important, that people are interested in this subject, is when you do that now for a British citizen or anybody who's non-EU, you have to have a full copy of the passport, every single page legalised. So for EU citizens, we only have to have the photo page verified and legalised, but for third country nationals, it's a full copy because they check the entry stamps in there to make sure you're not in Spain illegally.
There you go. Not a problem for Joe because he's got his Italian one, so that's great. So have you got a deadline today, by the way, Chris? Because I know we've got a lot of questions.
Unfortunately, I have, guys. So we'll wrap through this because it's obviously the only day we've had sun in the last 10 days. So I'm going to whip the kids out to golf.
Brilliant.
Class today.
Okay, then let's go to question 1 from social media, which is, they're all in the wrong order up here. Oh, they're all backwards. That's okay. We'll share that one. This is a very general question. I put up give us questions about visas and residency, and Julie says, how can I get my Spanish visa residency? This, of course, demands lots of extra questions, like what passport do you hold, Julie? Yeah. And whether it's EU or non-EU. That if it's non-EU, then you need to decide which kind of visa. So that's my quick answer. What else have you got to say, Chris?
I'd say that look at all the shows for the past year. That'll give you an idea of what you can apply for, and then ask the question again once you've looked at the shows.
Brilliant. That's the perfect answer. Right, let's get Patrick Perkins' question up. He is saying, let's see. Yes, I like how he's phrased this. He says, why is it that some people, 4 weeks, I think he means himself, 4 weeks after a non-lucrative visa appointment, get asked for an extra notary document to state the husband will support and care for his wife when in Spain? Then they only give you 10 days to get it translated and apostilled. Surely those in that situation should be asked in the first place to provide that document as part of the visa process.
Surely they should. And at your initial appointment, you think they'd make you aware of that document, wouldn't you? But unfortunately, sometimes, Patrick's been through the mill a bit with the requirements. So what we've seen lately from London is that for some reason, after successful appointments, when people have gone in, they've accepted the documents and everyone's been very happy. After they get the initial approval through immigration, then someone in London is deciding they want to see further documentation. Which is slightly unpredictable documentation as well. So in Patrick's case, as he mentions there, it was something to look at. He had to make a notarized declaration that he'd look after his wife, who they've been married to for many years, and share finances. I mean, unfortunately, that is down to the person who goes to issue your visa. So they actually, I think they got the approval from immigration, but they now to finalize it want to see extra documents. When they ask for those extra documents, they give you then 10 days to present those documents, and evidently if they're not in Spanish, you have to be legalized and translated, which is a push at any juncture. So Patrick did well and got his document out to the consulate on time, but unfortunately, who knows why they're asking for them after successful appointments. It's something we've seen now the last couple of months.
There are ways of getting apostilles and translations done fairly quickly. There's a company that do that.
Zach dealt with Patrick actually.
That's good. And Zach's company is one of the affiliate links on that you can get a discount for. You can get a 10% discount on that link that I've got below. So there you go. So I think that's answered Patrick's question. Oh, Ravi Magar, or I don't know how to pronounce that. He says, I've been 15 days, submitted my documents for the Spain visit visa. Still no response. What's happening in the process? Can you help me? How many days? Is that just a visit visa? Do you mean the Schengen visa? Are you from outside those 63 countries who automatically get a pass? I don't know.
I think obviously it depends on. I mean, we don't know that, but I mean, in general, immigration here in Spain, and everybody asks questions. How long? And the thing is, it's how long is a piece of string. It depends which immigration are dealing with your application. Even here, for example, here in Malaga, there's no rhyme or reason how they come out. For some reason, we'll submit something and it comes out really quickly. We've got so much EU family members which have been in over the 90 days, 4 months. They just tell us to wait. So unfortunately, it's really hard to give a prediction on that. And then evidently, once the approval comes from immigration, if you're waiting for a visa from a consulate, it then depends on the consulate on how quick they're turning them around. So, and the time of year. So Manchester, for example, in summer this year, where it was a nightmare because immigration went, which were in the resoluciones, and now Manchester seems to have a backlog because immigration are kicking them out so quick. Manchester can't get the visas out quick enough. So there's a lot of things involved in the process.
Yeah. So Ravi, the question would be, which country are you applying from? So if you can answer that and come back to us, that would be lovely. Alan will answer your question in a second. Let's move on to Connie Batchelor from social media, who says, here it is, how long are marriage certificates taken to get apostilled, and are they really needed for the non-lucrative visa renewal?
Again, there are companies that help you in the UK. We've recently just had a renewal where they came back with a requirement letter and they wanted an updated copy of the marriage certificate and apostille, and our client got it turned around in around 3 or 4 days using a company to do so. So that was Zach as well, I think. Are they needed? The marriage certificates are normally needed if there's a dependent in on the financial side of things. So if one person depends on the other partner, then and you don't have joint accounts, and maybe you might find the financials are all in one person's name, then you'll need an updated marriage certificate legalized to prove that you have access to those finances.
There we go. Thanks for that question, Connie. Let's get to Alan's question. Hopefully he's getting his visa on Thursday. What happens first? Padron, then TIE appointment, or can both be done on the same day?
Padron, it's very rare that they'll be done on the same day because you need time for both. But it's first is Padron, and then it'll be your TIE appointment.
Yep, there you go. And next question is from Susanna, and that is here it comes. It's a golden visa question. Does the 500,000 euros for the golden visa financial requirement, that is, include the 10% additional fees, Notary impuestos? I'm told to plan on above the sales price, or is that solely the purchase price of the property?
It's the purchase price of the property. So you get it's a document called a certificado registral, which is your land registry document, which shows what the purchase price of the property was, which wouldn't include any extra fees or anything in there, and it has to be over 500,000.
Yeah. So generally you need 500,000 for the purchase, then you need the 10%, anything up to about 15%, depending on what region you're in and what solicitors' fees and that kind of thing. And then, of course, you need money to live on if you're going to have residency with it, if you're living here all year. But that's not absolutely necessary on the golden visa.
Yeah, so it's the purchase price, and you have to be a bit careful about people are amplifying purchase prices and stuff. To the first time in my life I've ever heard somebody wanting to pay more for a property. The other day, but no, it's got the land registry certificate, which is the ultimate proof that you qualify, is got to be correct.
So don't go buying a garden shed for 500,000. Because they won't believe you. There you go. Next question. This one is from Darren. Let's see, where is it gone? Where's your question, Darren? It's easy. I'll just read it out from here. He says, do you think the 90-day rule will ever change? I think he means the 90-180 rule. But let's answer it from the sake of the Schengen visa and 90 days to get your residency. They're both separate questions, aren't they?
Yeah, I think probably this relates back to that politician, the tourist minister, maybe, who said that they were going to request this from Spain, weren't they? There was a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it, that they said they were going to request the change. The 90-180 Schengen rule, which allows people to travel for 90 days in 180. I don't think that's going to change because there's so much more factors than people just spending more than 3 months in Spain, isn't there?
Yeah.
It relates back to the swallows question, that people used to spend 4 months in Spain, and et cetera, et cetera. So I can't see. Obviously, I know when we had the last show, you spoke about there's so many more factors in the Schengen rules and countries involved that they're not just going to change it if people want to spend more time in Spain. No. Also, obviously, under any platform, if you intend spending more than 90 days in Spain, you need to have residency anyway. So I can't see how it's going to change, to be honest.
Yeah, it's all because I think Spanish people can go to the UK and spend 180 days there. And and that's all okay. I think it's even after Brexit you can do that. I hope I'm not wrong on that. I'm not giving wrong information, but we'll see. I'm sure somebody will correct me if I am. But
let's get an English residency specialist on from over there. See what can happen if people are leaving. But no, I mean, I know, and I was trying to relate it back to people who maybe had properties over here, holiday homes, whether they'd be allowed to spend more than 90 days. But don't forget, like, I know obviously back in the day, pre-Brexit, even although there was a lot of people who did it, spent 4 or 5 months in the winter, then went home again, didn't become fiscal residents. In theory, even on an EU platform, after 90 days, you're supposed to register.
Yeah. There you go. So it's yes, there's Spain rules and Schengen rules there, which are completely different. There we go.
Yes.
So that's about enough for that for now. I'm sure Darren will come back to us if he has any more questions. So the next one is Melvin Swallow, who says, there we go. Under the non-lucrative visa during the first 5 years seems to be a probationary period. Well, it's called temporary residency. I suppose it is a probationary period in terms of, because he's asking about time restrictions. How are you able to travel outside the EU? And if so, what restrictions time-wise are there? And it's not just about traveling outside the EU, it's about traveling outside of Spain.
Yeah.
And the restrictions are basically you can go for anything up to 6 months out of Spain during each of the years. But if you want to get permanent residency, you're not allowed to spend more than 10 months in total in that 5 years.
That's right. And you always with an NLV, you'll always at some point, when you get your NLV, become a fiscal resident and have to maintain that fiscal residency during the temporary residency period. I think it's probably important. You're absolutely right what you said. I think it's quite important to point out again that the NLV isn't a way to get around the 9180, which relates to the previous question. Unfortunately, it is, albeit that the first 5 years of any residency is a temporary period until you either switch it for a larga duración, which is the 5 years, or the 10 years for permanent residency if you're on an EU platform. But it's not. We get asked this question quite a lot, and it's not. It doesn't get you. So we say free travel like we used to have.
There you go. Thank you very much for your question, Melvin. And on to Hugh, who, oops, let's get the right button pressed. It's like a flight deck on my screen today. So many questions. Can I move on the non-lucrative visa for year one, then move to an EU passport thereafter? Oh, he's awaiting his Irish citizenship. Yeah, what would be the benefit of doing that?
Yeah, you can. I mean, look, this is the first time that you don't often get the extranjerias seeing these until now. This is something that's happened, something that we've dealt with as well, and you can do it. So during the renewal, during the renewal period of, if your Irish passport came before the expiry of your NLV, then I wouldn't attempt to do it then. What I would wait to do is I would make sure you got all your ducks in a row to get your EU residency, wait for the expiry of the NLV, and then go and register the EU residency. So yeah, but you can do it. They do scratch their heads a bit. They look at it and go, hang on a minute, what are we supposed to do with this? And there's a lot of conferring behind the doors, but it can be done. Yeah,
great stuff. Good luck with that.
It's the same. Just mentioning that, it's the same for people. So we've done an awful lot of first-time EUs who got their NIEs on a British passport. Okay, that can be done as well. So when we first did it, there was a little bit of, well, now we need a document from the consulate, but we can't tell you what document we need from the Irish consulate. Then there was bits and bobs, but now, because of getting used to it, it's literally, we know what we need to present and they fly through. So that can be done as well.
That is good. So let's just, Patrick Perkins says, thanks, Chris, for the answer and also for all your help and support through everything. There you go. Happy customer. And Phil Quantrill. This is an interesting question. It's the Christmas question. Will there be allowances made for delays in registration over the festive period?
Allowances for delays in registering the visa? No, there's no. Unfortunately, they don't give you any. There's no allowances for festive periods, whether it be summer or bank holidays or whatever. But they do take into account bank holidays. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. So this begs the question: how is the visa process interrupted by Christmas? Is it busy?
Yeah, I mean, we find now the last year wasn't actually too bad. What we'll find is there's a delay now. The appointments, the consulates only have the bank holidays off in the UK, and the administrative offices here, las extranjerías, they only have the bank holidays off here. So in some weird circumstances before in the past, when the 26th, for example, which is typically a day where everybody sits on the couch eating leftovers, in the UK, we're back at work. You know what I mean? It's like you can't have too much Christmas wine on the 25th because the 26th is a work day, So in that respect, it's absolutely fine. So yeah, in theory, all days which are work days should be worked, and the offices should be open. We do see sometimes, like for example, this week we had 2 20s in between. It's been a very strange week, and we noticed that there was things slowed down. There's a lot of even like institutions like town halls, like here, our concierge decided just not to turn up Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and turn it into a long week. And you do notice that things slow down a little bit, but in theory, the day should be worked. You don't get any extra concessions for it.
Yeah, this is a particularly unusual week, isn't it? 2 puentes. Just an explanation of the puentes. They are days when you've got a bank holiday either side, or a weekend and a bank holiday, and people just go, take the day off there. It's called a bridge day, isn't it?
Yeah, some people have had a bridge week this week, I can tell.
Yeah, because 2 celebrations, was it Tuesday and Thursday? There's Day of the Constitution, and what was Thursday? I've forgotten already.
I think it's the Immaculate Conception.
That's the one, yes. Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of people, especially in Granada province, Steve and Monday were talking about it, everything just shut down over there. But down here, shops have been open. The local supermarket was open on most of those days anyway.
It was open on the 6th, so we had a Tuesday was complete shutdown, and here everything was open on the 6th. It's strange. It depends on I don't know what it's just people take 20s because they can take the days as holiday, which means they only have 3 days to get a whole week off. But then sidetracking, some jobs, depending on the convenio that you work in, don't allow you to do that. And if you take a day off in the middle of two bank holidays, they'll count 2 bank holidays as a holiday as well, so you lose them. So it really depends on what sector you work in, whether you can get away with it or not as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. There we go. So thanks, Phil, for bringing that up. So there's no real massive delays going on for Christmas. That's the kind of the big Christmas update.
The big thing is that every day should be worked. It does slow down. Any festive period, it does slow down. In some instances, it actually gets a bit better because no one's going to the appointments. If everybody's working, you can get appointments. Sometimes it can be better, but yeah. And
it's a slightly strange time to be moving. I know that who were we talking to earlier? Arriving on the 19th. It's a strange time to be actually moving lock, stock and barrel and coming over here and starting a new life just a few days before Christmas, but people still doing it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing as well, obviously you've got to remember that it sounds crazy, but that the Spanish generally are a lot worse than me at doing Christmas shopping. And think about it on the 23rd. Yeah. And I'm bad, but I'm like sort of looking at it now, thinking better start doing something. But if you go to any shop or anywhere, which I generally try to avoid anyway, but after the 21st, it's just madness. It is even like the morning of the 24th, because the Spanish families celebrate on the 24th evening. Then you even find the morning of the 21st, the 4th, there's still people out doing all the shopping for Christmas. And it's also good to remember that the 25th, Christmas Day, if you organise to have your Christmas on the 24th like the Spanish, Christmas Day is a brilliant day to be out and about because everybody's out and about. It's a day to really go eat fish on the beach, not be at home locked away with a turkey. Yeah, completely different here. Even the restaurants are open in town here. Whereas if you go out New Year's Eve, like you would maybe typically do in the UK, 23 years ago when I left, we did. You go out Christmas Eve, there's nothing open. It's dead because everybody's at home with the family. So great stuff. Bev says New York passport, not New York, New Zealand passport holders. Like I can spend 90 days in Spain, then 90 in other Schengen. That's if you're a resident in Spain. Yeah. So there you go. Alan Lackenby says, this is a difference in dates between his and his wife's entry stamp. His wife's was the 16th of October, but he has his stamped on the 15th of December.
How long do they have to make appointments? That's interesting.
In theory, you have 30 days from your entering into Spain to register your card. So your wife needs to be doing it pretty soon. In practice, it doesn't actually work like that. As long as you don't let your visa expire, you're absolutely fine. Also, the booking of appointments is qualified as part of the 30 days. So if you've get an appointment in 3 months' time, but you've done it within the 30 days, and that still counts.
There you go. So move on to the next question, number 8 from Linda. Linda Perry says, why is the amount of money you need for a non-lucrative visa, that's the financial requirement, why does it keep going up? And I'm not sure how they're working it out. You can live like a king on the money they're saying you have to live on.
You can, yeah. Depending on where you live, you could live like a king, yeah. 27 grand, depending on how much you've got, 28 grand. So this relates to EPREM, which I think we did a bit of a show on, so that'd be good. So EPREM is a rate of money here in Spain, which they use to calculate the minimum income requirements for what somebody can live on. Now, what I think the question she's probably asking is, why is it so different from before? Well, because third country nationals applying for a visa now have to prove they have four times 400% times EPREM, whereas on an EU platform typically it was only 100%, which makes it 4 times more expensive. Should we say 4 times more the requirements of people coming in on a visa. As we know, for couples, it's they allow a dependent just to have 100%, so it will be 500% for a couple coming on an NLV, it'll be around 35k. But yeah, I agree. A lot of money, you could live like a king on it, but that's the general immigration law, I'm afraid.
It does go up it goes up each year, doesn't it?
It does. Well, no, it didn't go up for quite a while actually. It didn't go up during the PP's reign here in Spain. It didn't go up, but evidently, things have changed. Cost of living's gone up, and it took a bit of a hike last year. And I would expect next year, with inflation, that it's going to go up again.
When do they announce that? Should be soon, shouldn't it?
Should be early next year. Early next year, in the Bulletin Oficial, it'll come out early next year. When they do the what they call it in English, when the Chancellor does his thing.
The budget.
Budget. When they do budget early in the year.
There you go. Okay. Barry from Unitech says, can you not just buy pre-translated documents, which you just fill in with your own details? Seems crazy that everyone has to go through the process of getting the same stuff translated time and again.
It depends what documents you mean. Yeah, no, you can't buy pre-translated ACRO certificates, for example. Unfortunately, ACRO, and you issue them in English, and that's it.
And it's different, and they're different for everybody, aren't they? You can't translate somebody else's ACRO.
No, yeah, exactly. No, you can't. What does come pre-translated? Apostille stamp come. Apostilles. When you get your stamp on your apostille, you don't have to get the apostille translated. You have to get the other side translated.
Yeah. There's the medical. What's it called? The.
Medical certificate. Yeah, we can get them in Spanish, issued in Spain. They don't need a translation. Or apostille.
So there is one, Barry, but just for that one thing. Most of the sort of translations that you need doing are really for things that are individual to you. I think that's the answer to that one. So there isn't a standard thing that says what your circumstances are. Because you're different, Barry. There we go. Right, what question are we up to? We've had Linda, so we're up to Sarah now. Sarah's got the last 2 questions from social media, both from Sarah. So we'll get the first one up now. Can you use the house deeds and the value of your house basically as proof of financial means when you're renewing your non-lucrative visa, even if it's not generating income? And she's based in Fuerteventura.
No, you'd need to. It would need to be generating income, I'm afraid.
They said in some regions that they will take it into account. Is that something that Alicante are doing?
We've sort of got because obviously we're still in the first renewal year, aren't we, at the moment? And we're sort of seeing what they're asking for. And they're very specific at the moment on seeing liquid assets and proving that you've got liquid assets. So at the moment, in the regions that we've been acting with, you couldn't use it. We couldn't advise somebody to use a house as part of the financials. In fact, they've actually get to the point where if they don't fully understand the money, the proof of financials which has been presented, they actually send you back a graph now saying you need to prove this cash. So yeah, and there's nothing on there which states that you can take the value of the property into account, unfortunately.
So is it worth her checking with the Fuerteventura extranjería?
They wouldn't give you a definite answer. That's the honest truth. We'd have to say that you would, to guarantee a successful renewal, you would need to have the money or the improved income from that property. I wouldn't say that they take the value of the property into account, unfortunately.
There you go. So second question was similar to that. She has an annex. So I have an annex that we are thinking of renting out in the future around the time of our non-lucrative visa renewal. Are we okay to still apply for the non-lucrative visa renewal, thinking this could help with the financial means for the next 2 years? We have an agent that will give us a written rental agreement, but wanted to check first. We'd just like to cover all of our options.
Yeah, sure. Look, as long as it's a long-term rental, you're doing it properly. So obviously rentals come in many platforms, don't they? So you've got holiday rentals, you've got et cetera, et cetera. But as long as whichever way you're renting, you're not on it's not on a work basis, i.e. you're working, because you're not allowed to do that in an LV. So for example, if it was a long-term rental, which was going to help, then you would need to have the contract registered with the local government, but an agent would help you to do that. So that's the norm. It doesn't happen an awful lot. We don't see it happen an awful lot. But in theory, when you take a rental on, that contract then gets registered with the local government then should take a deposit and hold that deposit in case there's any disputes when the contract ends. And as long as you're declaring that income, or you've got proof of that income with a valid registered contract, and you're not actually doing anything, to work in the property, then that's fine. Long-term rentals is a good and stable way of proving income for an NLV renewal.
But a holiday rental, that needs to be done by a management company, doesn't it?
It would, yeah. You would just have to you would have to prove that you're not managing that. So that would come, and it would be part eventually on renewals. That would be part of your income declaration as well. So when you do your tax return, for example, I've got a rental property that I rent out, and we have that going into an account, and that gets declared on my tax return. And then if I needed to prove that income for any other source, maybe I want to go and buy a new car or something, I can say, hey, look, my tax return, the money's there. It's the same for a non-lucrative visa.
Yeah, great stuff. So have we covered everything on that one? Yes, I think we have. Yes. So basically, it can help with your financial means for the next 2 years, as long as it's done properly and you're not actually working for it.
Yeah. As long as you're, as long as and it's a difficult one, because people get caught in the sort as well for like UK properties, for example. We've got people who are going to be renting out UK properties. We had one recently which got renewed successfully for a lady who lives here in Marbella. And it was purely on passive income from rental properties and a small pension. But the bulk of the money was from there. So we had the rental agreement from the UK, proof it was getting paid into an account, an abundance of translations, which were quite expensive, but they agreed with it. So it was good.
Excellent. Let's have a look now. So that's all the questions from social media. We have Relax With Us. That's a good name. Says, hello, I'm caregiver and I want to work in Spain. By the way, I'm from Algeria. That begs some questions. You need to tell us a bit more. What do we need to know, Chris?
Yeah. I don't know what passport you hold. Yeah, is Algerian. I have never done an Algerian visa, so I wouldn't know. I think there is an agreement between Spain and Algeria or something, but I wouldn't know what it is. But...
Yeah, you need to check with your Spanish embassy.
Yeah,
I think in Algeria. That's the simple answer to that one.
Or if you've got any family here, we've got Spanish passports, maybe. Some people have Spanish because there's a convenio between the two. You never know.
Yeah. Alan, who was talking about the visa entry, different stamps on different dates, said, sorry, wife's was the 29th of November. So got a bit more time there at least. You've got till the end of December.
Yeah.
There we go. And Bev says, we're selling here in London, so to avoid paying tax on the sale, I know we should sell in the first half of the year, then move in the second half. But can we still have the 90 days before our residency starts?
Yeah. So a lot of people do that. So funnily enough, I just literally, we're just finishing off an article on this actually, which I've sort of called the tax rush, because what happens is a lot of people structure their year. Now again, we don't give tax advice, as we know, so but a lot of people structure their year so they can sell a property and don't have to pay capital gains and come at the back end of the year, not become fiscal residents in this year. So we had a lot of that last year, and what happens is everybody then comes screaming in around July time and wants to get started, which then hits smack bang in the middle of the summer period, and we all know the nightmares which happen in summer, because some visas taking 4 months to come out. So you've got to bear that all in mind. But yeah, you can certainly do a discovery trip. You can use your Schengen allowance, be clever with that, all the way up to the point where you obviously make your visa application. Then bear in mind, depending on the consulate you go to, if it's London, they're going to want to keep your passport. Manchester, it depends what day it is, whether they want it or not. In Edinburgh, well, their own. But you might have to hand your passport over, which means you won't be able to use those 90 days. If you get your passport back, you can still continue to use your 90 days, but making sure that you never spend 183 days in the year to qualify to be a tax resident. So what a lot of people are doing is they're using their 90 days Schengen period very carefully during the first part of the year to do their discovery trips, etc., and bearing in mind that summer's a bit of a nightmare to get a visa anyway, then pushing their move date right back to September, October, so they've got all that 90-day playtime. Then they're going to have the summer where it's a bit cooler in the UK to stay there, and then go for their visa and come over later on in the year and still not spend the 183 days.
Yes. So yes, you've got to really carefully count the number of days left if you've used some of your 90 days already in the first half of the year. That is really important. I bet some people have been caught out by that.
Yeah, you've got to plan it, but it can be done. I mean, if you're looking at a year's plan, and I spoke to a lot of people when I was in the UK about it, because everybody's normal, everybody's in a rush and you want to get here for summer, but it's also a very bad time to move over. Trying to find a rental, trying to find something to buy. We've seen the property prices already go down. I know the state of the economy at the moment, but it's generally in summer they do this, rentals do this, and it goes like that in the winter. So, September, October, November is a good time to really plan and come.
It is, yeah. She does say, trying to work out when to start the rental. Yeah, we moved on the 10th of October, and that proved to be good because there were properties that were appearing at estate agents in the windows.
And I think the other thing to remember is just if you do get a property and be careful of when you have to leave that property. A lot of people get a 6-month holding property or something, but it's a winter and you're going to be in exactly the same position next year where you get kicked out in May, June and you can't find anything. So
yeah. So I mean, it's a good idea if you're looking to, if you're going to buy a house, for example, but you rent for the first 6 months, then that's a good time to be looking.
Yeah, yes, it is.
There you go. There we go. That's the. Oh no, I had one more question actually. That's actually from me rather than from anybody else, and that is, don't question 11. Where's it gone? There it is. I saw it on Facebook and had to check it out. From the first day of next year, all cars in Spain must have a sign to confirm their ecological level and status. If they do not have it, they could get a fine as it is needed. It needs to have a distintivo ambiental. So what's that all about, Chris?
Yeah, because funny enough, as you were talking there, I Googled it because I hadn't actually seen that.
Yeah.
So normally Antonio gives me the heads up about these kind of things because he'd probably try and sell me the stickers. But yes, so you can get the stickers in the Correos. You've always been able to get them from Correos using a digital certificate on the DGT.
Yeah.
Also, the authorised garages and places like where we have to go and get our number plates made up as well. they'll sell the stickers. And yeah, according to this article, which I quickly brought up and read, that next year you're going to have one if you want to visit certain cities. Now, it's been coming into play though. It already was in Madrid and Barcelona that you had to have one in if you wanted to go in the city. Yeah. And I think there's a big push now to get rid of the old diesel guzzlers as well with the bigger stickers. So yeah, I mean, I think the moral of the story is just get yourself a sticker in your car, really.
Yeah. And watch out for how old your car is, and whether it's a diesel. There's certain you can't have a diesel older than a certain age, I think it is. You're just not allowed to go into cities at all with those ones because you can't get the sticker that says you've got a clean enough car. So yeah, read the article.
Diesel from yeah. We'll have to do some content on this. I honestly, till you mentioned it this morning, the stickers we give out with our matriculations because they come as part of our pack. But we normally just tell people you might need that if you're going to Valencia, Madrid, or Barcelona, but nothing else. But it looks like they're tightening the rules once a month now.
Yeah, Phil says I think it's in cities of more than 500,000 people. I read 50,000 people.
It says here in the Vanguardia 50,000.
50,000. There you go. So that's
which would be Algerian has got 54, so it means here.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wow. So that's quite small. Yeah. All right. We're all right in Computer. There's only about 3,000 here. Yeah. I can't see them doing anything in mountain villages anyway. Everybody's got diesel cars that are about 20 years old. So.
I'm gonna go order. I haven't got a sticker in my window. All the people we register cars for do. I'm going to go and order my sticker next week, and then I'll tell you what it was like. I've never got one from the post office. I know you can get one.
Mm-hmm. We'd better do a video about that early in the year. Make sure everybody's legal.
We'll do a video and do a recce. I'll take my car, see how good it is at the post office, and how easy it is to get one.
There we go. Oh, Bev said Irish passport. And so she's piggybacking on an Irish passport. There we go. How does that affect our answers? I forgot what we were talking about with Bev. It's about when they're moving in second half of the year and trying to avoid. I think it's the same. It's the same rules for the number of days. You've got to make sure you don't spend 183 days in Spain in that particular calendar year. There we go.
Because don't get fiscal and physical residency are two different things. So we've seen in the past where people who haven't even declared their residency but have been identified as being here, long enough has come a cropper with the tax office as well. Mm-hmm. So just remember that.
There we go. All right, we've only got a couple of minutes left for you, Chris, so let's get this question from Severa. Hello, Severa. If I have the Brexit Withdrawal Agreement residency, how long am I allowed to stay outside Spain per year if I'm working and living between the two countries? Or is the 10-month the maximum time allowed out? No, I think you've got, on the withdrawal agreement.
Time. Yeah. It's up to a year on the withdrawal agreement in the first 5 years. And then after that, you can actually, with withdrawal agreement, if you can justify it, it's more than the permanent residence. You can spend up to 5, I believe, on a permanent withdrawal agreement. But it depends what card she's got.
Yeah.
If she's got the permanent one or not.
Yeah, have you got the permanent card? No, you didn't move that long ago, I don't think. Tell us.
Yeah, she could have a permanent withdrawal agreement like I've got, for example.
Yeah. How long have you been here, Sarah? So, let's see if we've got anything else on the... Phil says the French issued certificates are also valid in Spain. Oh, this is the sticker for your car. That's handy to know.
And how do they? Because the French have insurance stickers in their windows, don't they? Is that all part of your insurance sticker, Phil? Tell us. We want to know. I know when we do the registrations, they have like an insurance sticker in the window, which we don't have to have in Spain. Yeah.
Or is this just an individual? Whatever it's called, distintivo ambiental, whatever the French is for that. Ambiental. That's my French. That's the limit of my French. So if you've got any more questions, yes, it's the N332 site. That's a very useful site, actually. N332. Find that. It's run by Spanish Tráfico, but they just talking English all the time. So yes, insurance. Yes, they have insurance in the window, Phil says. There we go. So if you've got any more questions now, then pop them in the YouTube comments below and I'll pass them on to Chris. Oh, the certificate is just for the emissions, Phil says.
Oh, right. Okay.
Huge thanks to everybody who's joined in on the live chat today. And of course, massive thanks to Chris for being the fount of all knowledge and a champion bloke. So, and yeah, I'll get on with the rest of it after I've waved you goodbye, because you've got to go and take the kids to golf. Have a lovely day.
Oh, I hope it doesn't rain. It's still looking ominous, but we might squeeze it in.
Yeah, good luck with that. And I'll speak to you during the week all about what we're doing next week, because it's the Christmas show. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think the Christmas hats and the blow up Santa might make an appearance.
Absolutely, yes. And we might have Liz, my wife. We might even have Laura on there, because she's got a new book out, hasn't she?
She has, yeah, she has. So she's doing a series that she did. Obviously, the book last year did a show with you, and this year she's started releasing a series of 4 books, which are for younger kids. So the first one's already on Amazon. So and the second one should be out by Christmas. So we might give a few away. She might give some away, a bit of free promo.
Yeah, perfect. Okay,
I'll get some ready.
We'll sort that out for next week then. Brilliant.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Take care then.
Take care. Bye.
Bye for now. There we go. So remember then, next week's the last live show of the year, and we'll be talking to you about your success stories. So don't forget to get in touch. Do that now. info@YouTooSpain.com. Send emails to that, and obviously make sure you keep an eye out for any midweek videos we do on Wednesdays. In the meantime, before we see you again, and YouTube shorts, which are less than a minute long, loads of fun. Watch them and share them around to your friends. There's ones about my teeth. Big smiley teeth. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and click all on the notifications bell, and you'll be the first to know what's coming up every week. So I'll see you all. Thanks everybody on there. Phil, Sabira, Bev, Phil again, and Barry and Joe, and all of the rest of you who've been asking questions. Thank you for joining us. And next week the show is, as usual, on Saturday at the regular time of 9 o'clock if you're in the UK, 10 o'clock if you're in Spain or Central Europe. And Liz says hi, by the way. She's down at the market today. You can join her for free virtual yoga and meditation on her YouTube channel, which is called YouTube Yoga and Aromatherapy. I've got a link down below, of course, with all of the other ones. And that's all for this week. Someone pass around the Christmas tapas. I've got the munchies. Peace and love, guys. Oh, and one more little cosmic dance. There we go. Let's get the thing up. Where's the music? There it is. Are you ready to dance? Let's do it.